students. Now we talk about how a disease communicates from an infected person to healthy person through the mediums, in which I'll be talking about means of spread. So means of spread occurs when an infectious disease or communicable disease comes into the person and the person gets infected, and if they are being connected through any means that you can see, by a direct contact, by air, by indirect contact, that is with the things, along with food, mosquito, and any kind of a rabid animal. Rabid animal is a different case in which the other organism like dog is being infected or containing any kind of pathogen, which may not affect its own immunity, but if a healthy person may come in contact with that rabid animal, that will cause some kind of disease. Okay, so the means of communication or spread are different for a different pathogen that we already spoke about, like what kind of medium a particular pathogen requires or has for the transmission of any kind of disease. All right. So if I talk about transmissions, these are of two types. First is direct transmission, in which pathogens are transmitted from infected person to a healthy person directly. All right. And there's no agent or there's no particular, we can say, carrier or vector which is containing the disease. Okay, it will transfer directly from the infected person to the healthy person. If I talk about direct transmission, the first point that we are going to talk about is contact with infected person. Like diseases like chickenpox, smallpox, ringworms are transmitted or spread by the actual contact between the individuals. Okay, such diseases are called contagious or contagious diseases. All right, diseases like syphilis, gonorrhea, that are bacterial diseases, and AIDS, that is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, is caused by a virus. It is mainly transmitted through sexual contact. Okay, from one partner to other, like the one partner of them might be contracted or infected with AIDS. Okay, so unprotected sexual intercourse with infected person may cause AIDS. Okay, now the other medium through which direct contamination or direct transmission occurs with contact with the soil, where infectious agents of tetanus are mainly present in soil. The infectious agent is known as Clostridium tetani. Clostridium tetani. All right. So Clostridium tetani is the one through which tetanus is caused. You may have heard, or your parents may have told you quite a lot of times to get a tetanus shot when you are getting injured through rusted iron spike or something like that, because rusted iron may also contain those dirt soil particles which harbors what? Clostridium tetani or tetanus causing organism. All right, and if you may not get the shot, you may contract or you may happen to see stiffening of joints along with the locked jaw. That means your jaw will not be able to open. All right, I have just demonstrated how a tetanus works and it locks your jaw. So tetanus is also known as lockjaw disease. That is something extra to talk about, to flex if you know the answer. All right, tetanus, which is also known as lockjaw, is a bacterial infection caused by Clostridium tetani, which is commonly found in soil, saliva, dust, or manure. Any kind of thing that you may find dirty may harbor tetanus. You never know. Along with it, animal bites. Animal bites like rabies or rabid animals like dogs, the undomesticated or the street dogs, you may call it, you find in the streets of your home or your nearby surroundings, may have a particular pathogen which causes rabies. All right, you may have known that in the earlier days of your parents, or when your parents used to be child, when a rabid dog or when a wild dog may have bitten someone, they used to get 14 shots of injection. That was why? That was because to particularly eliminate this rabies causing organism. Nowadays it is 5. All right. So rabies virus is injected into the human body with the bite of a dog or a monkey. Okay. Remember, if a monkey also bites, that may also cause rabies. All right. Rabies is a dangerous virus that causes brain inflammation in humans and other mammals. What happens is that if someone encounters with rabies, two things happen. Firstly, their head starts getting swollen. Okay. Because of infection, again, your head starts getting swollen, because of which immense headache occurs. And second thing, the person is not able to ingest anything. Okay, whether it would be water, whether it would be food or anything, your food pipe and windpipe starts getting choked. By what it means? That the person is not able to have any kind of food or water. It just spills out from the person, and that creates immense amount of pain in the individual. And what it leads in, the person may die within the next 24 hours. So it is very vital, it is very important that if a rabid animal has been bitten or has been bitten anyone, they should get those shots, all right, or it could be fatal. Animals that carry infection spread rabies to humans through bites and scratches even sometimes. You never know how an animal behaves. All right, if animal scratches down and if you may have a bleeding or any kind of wound, get your shot at the first place, as you may see how it can occur or what are the consequences that will it lead to. All right, so stay cautious. So the other method of direct transmission is transplacental transmission that occurs in the mother to baby. We can say blood exchange, where diseases like AIDS, German measles and syphilis can also transmit from infected mother to fetus through the life cord that is known as placenta, right? You all know, and you have studied in 8th class about implantation and fertilization and reproduction in animals chapter, where you may have found that the placenta develops from the mother's body for deriving the nutritional content along with oxygen, along with blood cells, because that at that particular stage, this developing fetus or embryo is not sufficient of making its own blood or at the process as well, right? So through placenta, these kind of infections may also come in the contact with the baby or the developing baby, and these particular diseases may be found in the newborn later, right? Along with it, now we talk about the indirect transmissions. That means that the particular diseases does occur from an infected individual to a healthy individual, but they don't have a direct contact. All right, there is a medium, there is a vector, or there could be a carrier that may cause the disease, right? So they are living organisms that spread pathogens from infected person to healthy person. Usually the part of the life cycle of pathogen is passed into the body. That means that particular pathogen was not maybe infective in that particular individual that was carrying the disease, but by contracting in the human, it may completely come into the developed or the active stage where it may cause the disease. All right. Animals like houseflies transfer pathogen without taking them in their bodies, and that's why they are known as carriers. All right. There is a certain difference between a carrier and a vector. All right. A carrier is always an infected individual, whether we talk about mosquitoes or whether we talk about any organism. But a vector is just a carrier that is not infected by the disease. Like Aedes mosquito is the vector of dengue disease. It is not having dengue, but the malarial mosquito is a carrier of malaria, right? The female Anopheles mosquito is the carrier of malaria. That means the female mosquito is also infected. Okay, this is the basic difference between a carrier and a vector. All right. Through contaminated food and water, cholera, hepatitis B, diarrhea, ascariasis are some infectious gut diseases, which we can say like intestinal diseases that occur, all right, that are transmitted through infected food or contaminated food and water. Along with it, tetanus, not typhoid, and diarrhea, dysentery, cholera are the diseases which again spread through contaminated food. Where does that contamination comes from? From the excreta of infected person that is mixed up with the drinking water or food directly or indirectly. You may have heard your mother or father sometimes you scolding you around that for a particular place don't have any kind of food or don't have that particular kind of pani puri, I would say, right? There might be some pani puri lovers who are watching this right now, I believe, and you must have been told to have it from a certain hygienic place where people maintain their hygiene. Why so? Because any kind of food and water related disease are getting inside our body through what? Through the digestive tract. All right, so be cautious wherever you have the food. All right, along with it, air transmitted diseases from infected person to healthy person through the droplets of air being expelled by sneezing, coughing or spitting. All right, just that comes with common cold, pneumonia and tuberculosis. Now we talk about formite-borne diseases in which articles or things, normal things that we use, it could be pen, it could be your vase, it could be cups, anything, okay, that is door handles, taps, garments, currencies like notes, typical notes, utensils and crockery are some of the things through which any kind of disease may come in contact from an infected person to a healthy person. Respiratory syncytial virus RSV, which cause infections in the lungs and respiratory tract, is one example. Rhinovirus, usually the cause of common cold, also comes through formite-borne disease. Influenza or the flu, along with coronavirus that you have seen recent years, is also a formite-borne disease. That's why at that particular time it was advisable to sanitize and to clean everything, right, wherever is necessary. You may have seen your municipal corporation bodies cleaning up or sanitizing the huge buildings with the help of spray or with the help of sanitization solutions. Why so? So that any kind of pathogen that can be airborne will be eliminated by the same. Okay, we all know that coronavirus, that includes severe acute respiratory syndrome diseases which causes COVID-19 is a category. All right, along with it, indirect transmission includes sexually transmitted diseases in which AIDS or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome which causes AIDS comes under the category. If we talk about the classification of virus, AIDS is caused by retrovirus known as HIV or human immunodeficiency virus. Every word has its own meaning. Human, us, immuno means immune system, deficiency, that is deprivement, that this particular virus depresses the immune system, and ultimately what it causes? Acquired, that means body acquires it. Immunodeficiency, that means our immune system is compromised, we are deficient of immune system, and syndrome is a group of disease. So in the particular individual where AIDS is seen is open to any kind of disease. It is an open ground, and our body's defense cells, which are what? Our immune system is being compromised here. That's why AIDS individual or AIDS containing people don't survive much. Why? Because any kind of pathogen may progress in themselves and one may never know with what severity level it may reach up to. All right. This happens through sexual contact, this happens through blood transfusion or through infected needles or blade and transmit from the infected mother to her fetus. These are the areas through which AIDS may come in contact from an infected person to a healthy person, which is in 4: sexual relationship without protection, sharing needles, blood contact or vertical transmission. All right. Now we talk about organ specific and tissue specific manifestations. Human body has several organs, tissues and systems, and every pathogen has developed an adaptation where they want to reach, where they want to infect the particular individual. All right. In some cases, organ or tissue specifically are getting affected, and in some cases, it may be generalized. All right. So, portal related organs. if we talk about and tissue specificity, that microbes that occurs through various or enters through various routes, if they enter through nose, they are likely to go into lungs. Okay, there are certain pathways that everybody knows, like if we ingest something that goes through mouth, esophagus, stomach, intestine, right? That is the general pathway. If we inhale air, it may go from nose to larynx, pharynx, trachea, then alveoli that are present in lungs ultimately. So if we inhale anything through nose, they are likely to go into lungs and cause respiratory disorders that we talked about, tuberculosis or pneumonia. All right. If they enter through mouth, they pass through digestive tract and may cause any kind of diseases related to digestive tract, that is typhoid, diarrhea, helminthing infection, etc. Some microbes like viruses reach liver and cause jaundice. Okay. Plasmodium enters blood, goes to the liver and multiply and passes into the red blood cells or our main circulatory system. In elephantiasis, worm enters through mosquito bite and reaches the lymphatic vessels. That's why the swelling occurs. So the lymph part gets affected. Now HIV, which cause AIDS, enter the body through sexual contact or the other mediums that we have spoke about, and that spreads into lymph nodes all over the body. That's why our immune system is compromised. All right. If I talk about signs and symptoms, what are those? These are the manifestations of any kind of disease. Like how a disease is being diagnosed depends upon the signs and symptoms that a particular disease shows or the particular individual shows in their body, right? That's why diagnosis is very important while finding out any kind of disease in an individual. All right. So if a brain is the target, we'll observe severe headache, vomiting, fits or unconsciousness. That are the typical symptoms for any brain related diseases or disorders, we can say, or syndromes, we can say. If lungs are the target, symptoms will be cough and breathlessness for sure, because lung are the main respiratory organ which maintains the gaseous exchange. If something disturbing occurs over there, so one encounters cough and breathlessness. When liver is targeted, there will be jaundice. That means the person will have yellow pigmentations over the terminal portions of fingers or nails or over eyes as well. If lymph nodes are the target, lymphocyte productions may go down. That's why in the blood test or complete blood count, you may find a lymphocyte count as well. Like if a particular individual is having a low count of it, it may be indicative of what? Any kind of diseases which is causing lymph nodes recession. If alimentary canal is targeted by worms, there will be loss of appetite, there will be abdominal pain or internal bleeding as well. Swelling as well can occur or inflammation. Severity of disease will spread in the body when only microbe enter in the body for a sufficient time and it stays. Okay, if you are not doing anything, it will have a clear chance to overpower your immune system. If number is small, disease manifestation would be unnoticed. One may not find it. But immune system is a major factor that determines number of microbes that are surviving in the body. If your immune system is weak, it may allow other pathogen or other microbe to multiply and cause disease in a severe manner. And if your immune system is strong, it will not only restrict the growth of that particular organism or disease, it will eliminate it. That's why a strong immune system is the key or essentiality over here.